What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Fight Out podcast with Alan Mike. Today we'll be breaking down UFC 309, this weekend's card. Return of Jon Jones, Stipe, Charlie Olives, Michael Chandler. We'll be talking through the main card mostly, and we had a little chat then off camera, didn't we, Mike? Just talking about the quality of the card, shall we say, and the fact that it's not the best card for what it's pitched to be.
Yeah, I think as we touched on off pod, like I think sometimes when there's a big superstar on the card, they don't feel like they have to stack the card as much, and I think
Yeah.
they're hoping that Jon Jones' star power ignites this card and gets everyone involved. But I'm not so sure about the quality of the card throughout.
No. We were saying it's a bit of a Conor McGregor card where he's getting the pay-per-view. So it's hard to get other fighters on there that are going to want to fight. Now, obviously with McGregor, you're not going to get champions on the card because he's not a champion and he's got to be the headliner. Obviously, Jon Jones is a champion, so he's getting pay-per-view points anyway. And I'd imagine he's kind of got a similar clause to McGregor where nobody else on the card is going to get a piece of the pie other than him, which is why we're probably seeing it like this. But yeah, I remember it. I remember it being better, to be honest. But we'll dive into it anyway. So, starting at the main event, the GOAT against the heavyweight GOAT. We talked about it on a few little short snippets. I think we're both on the same page with where this fight is at personally. I don't think it is the fight it's pitched to be. I'm not as excited about it as I would be other fights. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about it.
Yeah, it's a legacy fight in it for Jon Jones. It's not. He doesn't see this as a competitive championship fight. I don't think. I think personally, he's a clever man, Jon Jones. Although he might not come across it, and I think he's using this as a yardstick to see where he's at. If he comes through this with flying colours like he did Cyril Gane, I can see him competing again against one of the young up and comers like your Aspinalls or maybe your Ngannou if there's some sort of crossover with this Turkey fella. Now he's getting into the MMA, isn't he? So I can see that. But if he doesn't come through this fight with flying colours like he did against Gane, I think he rides off into the sunset on the back of this legacy win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we ever see Ngannou anything to do with the UFC again with what Dana was saying the other week, but Dana does love to change his mind. But yeah, I've got two trains of thought. So, did you watch the interview or see it on Twitter recently about where he said basically Aspinall's done zip? He's not
Yeah.
he's not on my level, blah blah blah. When I seen that, I thought he's saying that because he knows that's the fight that people want to see. And like you said, he's a very clever man. He's been in the game a very long time. He knows how the fans work. He knows how hype works. So one train of thought I've got is he's making the Aspinall fight bigger by saying, "Nah, it's not happening." He's basically negotiating publicly. I think Daniel Cormier said that he's negotiating out in public to say to the UFC, "If you want me to fight this Aspinall, throw some more money my way. We'll make it happen after this kind of thing." And I'm leaning towards that because I feel like he's choosing his words very carefully when it comes to Aspinall and saying, "Oh, I'll fight Pereira instead," which makes no sense whatsoever. I
Yeah.
like Aspinall's response as well, where he had the top 10, just basically crossed all the ones out he beat. And it was
Yeah.
only Stipe, Jones, Cyril Gane, and it was the top 15 actually. It was one more, I can't remember who it was now at the top of my head.
Yeah.
And then my second train of thought is exactly what you just said. And he kind of knows, maybe at this stage, Aspinall's a little bit more than he can handle. And he wants to protect his record and protect his legacy, and he's going to just sail off after this.
Yeah. I don't know whether he obviously look he's a wild man, and I don't know whether he thinks for one set that Aspinall beats him. Personally, I just think it's a big risk.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get in there and do what they do if you think someone's going to beat you. But in my opinion, I just think depending on how this fight goes, will spell out his future in plain sight for everyone to see because he hasn't really tested his body at heavyweight. Mm-hmm. He fought Gane, and we both attested to this before on previous pods. We don't think he looked that sharp. Now that could be ring rust, that could be extra weight. We don't know yet. But until this is proven, then as you say, we're unsure. And shortly after that, he got a serious injury. So does he back his body 100% at heavyweight? I'm guessing he doesn't. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
That's one thing a lot of people aren't talking about, the injury as well itself. Mm-hmm. He had to take another 9 months off. He'd torn his pec right off the bone. Now, I mean, touch wood, I've never done that. Doesn't sound particularly nice, if I'm being honest with you, mate. So, that healing, okay, yeah, he took the year, like we said, but he's coming in there with one fight in 4 years. So, like, there's ring rust again. And
Yeah,
he's coming off an injury layoff now as well, which is a different psychological thing. And Stipe, who's meant to be the inactive one of the two, is coming off one fight in 4.5 years. So, okay, Stipe's fight was longer ago than Jones's, but they've still had one fight in the last 4 years each. So
yeah,
it's not, they're not too dissimilar. And Stipe is much more experienced at heavyweight, and Jones
yeah,
is a big heavyweight. I'm not saying Stipe is a massive one, but it is on that. That makes it a little bit interesting. And obviously, the gold versus heavyweight goals talk kind of makes it interesting. As a fight for me, it's the wrong one to be happening, but here we are.
yeah.
Have you got
It's
it going?
it's not the one as fans we want to see, is it? But providing providing Jon Jones goes out on Saturday and doesn't look like the Jon Jones of old, I'm not sure I want to see Jones versus Aspinall. I think there is a time for legends to retire. Personally, you've seen so many legends in boxing and stuff, and even in MMA at times, like Tony Ferguson, you've seen him stay too long, and it ends up tarnishing the legacy. Even to
Mm.
the extent of Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo, they just stayed that little bit too long. So I would prefer if Jones is a shell of the man he is on Saturday, and even if he is a shell, I still think he comes through this fight. But even if he is a shell of the man he is, I'd rather not see him fight Aspinall.
That's an interesting one. I get what you're saying. I'll be honest, I can't see it being like that. Like for as much as I'm not even knocking him. I just want him to fight Tom Aspinall. I think he should be
Yeah,
fighting him, but I don't think personally. I don't think it's gonna be like that. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought about what if it is. I can see Jones and Stipe actually having a good fight here, a good tactical fight. But I can see Jones finishing him round three, round four-ish, somewhere around it, maybe even five, like sort of championship rounds,
yeah,
um, potentially round the end of round three, something like that, as it draws out. Because fight IQ wise, there's probably nobody better in the history of the sport than Jon Jones.
yeah. There isn't. He's fight IQ. He's elite, and his nastiness is elite as well.
Yeah, he's horrible, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an elite fighter, isn't he? Let's be honest, he's an elite fighter.
Yeah.
He's my goat, like, and I hope he comes through Saturday, and I hope he comes through well and does fight Aspinall. But in my opinion, I just don't want to see that if it's going to tarnish his legacy, because I've
Yeah.
got a lot of time for Jon Jones. I really like him as a fighter.
Got a feeling there's a big, horrible, nasty elbow playing a part in the finish as well.
Will it be quite funny, wouldn't it, if a 12-6 elbow was
Yeah.
involved in the finish after it being
Yeah. To be
being on?
to be honest, I didn't even mean 12-6. I just mean
Yeah,
some form of elbow. It could be a spin at any of them. But yeah, it would be almost poetic if he won with a 12-6 elbow and then just sailed off.
yeah.
That,
My prediction for
that,
the fight is that you touched on. You touched on what our predictions are. I think I can see Jon Jones winning and winning well, but I can see him playing with his food a little bit to sort of to get some rounds in the tank. I think he probably could finish him second round. I think he probably finishes him third or fourth.
yeah. I think that depends on how dangerous he thinks Stipe is. If he thinks Stipe is dangerous, it might be like Cyril Gane, where he looked like he was in a bit of a rush to get Gane out of there. Because
Yeah,
I think he worried about the fight going on, like you're saying, carrying. Maybe he was injured going into the Gane fight. You never know. He just didn't quite
yeah,
look the same for me. But I think if he's comfy in round one, I reckon he probably will play with him a
yeah,
bit. But I think if he's getting worried in round one, you could see him maybe get a little
yeah.
bit rushed and try and finish it. But yeah, I'm going Jones finish. You're going Jones finish. And for the record, we absolutely smashed that Taporia card's head in. Got a lot
Yeah.
of them right. All right, I had the Taporia decision, but other than that, we were spot on.
I think I'm 5 for 5, 2 cards on the run, aren't
Yeah, we're flying. We're flying.
I? I'm going
If anyone
5
wants to lose some money,
for 5.
listen to
just
us.
just touching on what you said there about Stipe, how dangerous Stipe is. Look, I don't want to shit on Stipe because, as you say, he's the heavyweight GOAT. He's a legend of the
Yeah.
sport. But fucking hell, if you heard him talk, he sounds like a danger to himself, mate.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a
You
fighter.
wouldn't, you wouldn't want him getting in a cage, would you, if he was your dad or something? Someone needs to put a hand on his shoulder and say, this has got to be your fucking last one.
Yeah. It was funny the other day because Tom Aspinall was talking and he was half like tongue in cheek, like he was half taking the piss out of them and half not. And I know it's not that old, but he was like, so he was taking the piss out of Jones and Stipe. And he went,
Yeah,
Stipe hasn't fought in 100 years.
yeah,
And then he went, he's 42 years old. And I kind of thought he was taking the piss now. No, he actually is 42.
yeah,
He's Glover won the belt at 42, didn't he?
Yeah.
Is there anyone older than that that's ever fought in the UFC? I don't think there's many people older than 42.
To fight,
Yeah.
how old was BJ Penn when he come back and fought?
He was still like 38, 39. Might have been 40. I don't think he was 40. I might be wrong. I don't think he was 42 though. 42 is old, especially a heavyweight.
42 is old, mate, but
I know the heavyweights go older, but championship fight level, 42 is.
that's an interesting question. I'm gonna Google oldest fighter ever.
Yeah. Well, while you're doing that, we'll talk a little bit going into the co-main as well. Because, like I said, prediction-wise for the people listening, we both got Jones by finish. And for those listening, thanks very much. We've been doing some decent views lately. If you could like, comment, subscribe, let us know what you think. Let us know if you agree, disagree. And then, we can always take all that on board for the next one. But yeah, going into the co-main, got Charlie Olives, Michael Chandler. I love this fight, to be honest with you. And it's a nice fight for a fan to watch. Obviously, we've seen it before. I don't think either fighter is any better than the first fight, to be honest with you, which is going to kind of lead into, I know Chandler was saying he'd only had 2.5 minutes experience in the UFC. I'll be honest, I love him, but I don't think he's got any wiser with the other, whatever that is, 30 minutes or so. He still loves just standing and banging. And I'm not I love it, but as fight IQ and stuff, he hasn't, in my opinion, progressed in that realm. Charles Oliveira, the thing that makes it a little bit interesting for me is Charles Oliveira is a little bit older. But obviously he's older, but I mean, even in his career, if he loses this, he's probably not touching the gold picture again, the belt picture. It'll be more legacy fights and stuff like that. With that being said, I can see it going quite similar to the first fight, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head, and I think it's stylistically, even if both fighters fought their perfect game plan, it's still stylistically a tough fight for Chandler. And the fact that he struggles to stick to a game plan so much just makes it that much harder.
Yeah.
And I seen Tom Aspinall talking about him and said he must be like a coach's nightmare. Don't know if you've seen that on Tom Aspinall's Fight Lab. He just goes on, throws caution to the wind, and now while that's probably got him 5 bonuses in his 5 or 6 UFC fights or whatever, but it hasn't got him any further up the rankings or any closer to the title. And he would have the style that's really hard to sort of mitigate, because he's got that sort of wrestle heavy style with a heavy right hand as well, but he just doesn't quite use it as he should. And now, when you say there, Charles on the title picture, obviously if he wins this one, he's still right in the title picture. But I feel like this division's going through a little bit of a changing of the guard.
Yeah,
I know Islam's the champion, and sort of Islam's been around for a couple of years now or whatever. But I feel like you've got Islam, then you've got Arman Sarukian, who's next for the belt, and then you've got the sort of between rank 5 and rank 10. You've got the sort of the Moicanos, the Paddies. You know what I mean? I feel like it's going through a bit of a changing of the guard, and I can see sort of Gaethje, Oliveira, Chandler all slipping further and further down the rankings now as we move.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest, I want to save what I'm about to say about that for the post show after this, once we see how it plays out, because the next fight, in my opinion, it's perfect. But like I said, I'll save that for the post show. But yeah, in regards to Chandler, I mean, he's an absolute fan favourite. I watch him fight every single time I will watch him fight. But Tom Aspinall said, he must be a coach's nightmare. In the last one, he had Oliveira on his back, stood up and slammed him, so he went deeper into a body triangle. Alright, didn't get finished from it, but come on, you're not doing that with Charles Oliveira. You just threatening to get finished by him. And one thing about Oliveira, he's probably the only fighter in the UFC that more or less gets a count when he gets knocked down. Because when someone knocks him down, they don't fancy going down with him. But Chandler does. I think Chandler's other than Islam, I think Chandler's the only fighter that knocked him down and followed him in. Everyone else, no, you can stand up, even Poirier and fighters like that. Chandler goes in, which, okay, if he hits him and he's got him there, maybe there's a method to victory there, but I think you're getting tangled up in all these mad submissions and you're going to end up tied up in a knot. Yeah,
I think that plays into what we were just talking about, doesn't it? Now how poor his game planning is sometimes. There's a reason why fighters with a lot better jiu-jitsu than Chandler let him stand. because even they know they can get caught. So I think the only way you sort of on the ground, the only chance you've got of beating Oliveira is if you're sort of like an Islam and you just smother it. Islam smothered him, but Islam hurt him as well. Yeah. So it wasn't just that, he was obviously dazed in that fight. I personally can't see a route to victory for Chandler, but I wouldn't be stunned if he fought a good game plan and got the win. I just can't see him fighting a good game plan.
No, the thing is about Chandler that I've noticed, once he gets knocked down, that's it. He usually knocks his opponent down, like he knocked Charles down, he knocked Gaethje down, or hurt him bad, I can't remember now. He had Poirier in a lot of trouble as well. I rewatched that fight the other day. But as soon as he gets knocked down himself, it's kind of the beginning of the end. And I don't know whether that's how many fights he's had and stuff like. He doesn't get finished right away, I'm not saying that, but you'd always kind of see him after that. He slows down a bit, he does kind of weather it, and then usually gets finished after that, within the next few minutes or potentially at the start of the next round kind of thing. And I can see Charles Oliveira knocking him down at the point that I want to make. So in that case, I can also see it finish in this fight. I haven't looked at any odds again. I don't like to before the card anymore, but I'll probably go Charles sub, potentially.
Yeah, I quite like... what do I like? I don't know if I like a Charles knockout or a Charles sub. I'll be different. I'll go for a Charles knockout. I think he clips him on something. Clips him coming in.
Okay. Did you get the answer to that oldest fighter?
Oldest champion, Randy Couture, 45.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Early days. To be fair, before my time, so...
Early days.
Don't at me. But, yeah. So moving further down the card now, the next fight is... it's Bo Nickel, Paul Craig, innit? Your boy.
Yeah.
You look for a Bo Nickel, don't you?
Oh, I'm big on Bo, like. I stink of it. No, I don't know if I'm caught up in the hype of Bo Nickel's fighting, or I'm caught up in the hype of the talk of Bo Nickel's fighting. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is. I'm constantly being told that Bo Nickel's this absolute destroyer who's coming to kill Khamzat. He can out grapple Khamzat, and he's going to take Shara Bullet down. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. But every time I've seen him fight, it's lackluster. But I can't help but be involved and be on that train.
He talked a big game, Chael, like on Bo Nickel.
Talks a massive game, and I don't know if you've seen DC talk about him as well. DC talks really, really high of him. But he's from that wrestling crop, isn't he?
Yeah, DC proper sucks wrestlers off, don't he? If you can wrestle, mate, you're like DC's best mate. But yeah, Chael does sell you on him. DC doesn't really, to be honest. Like DC just talks about his wrestling, and obviously that's interesting. But Chael actually sells you on him. You think it's the second coming of Jesus Christ when Chael talks about him. But,
no, the only thing on that fight is I've followed it in, and I don't really look at the odds of this fight, but this one flashed across my eye as I was looking through the UFC website. Bo Nickel is minus 1,000. Is that English equivalent of 1 to 10? Is that?
Yeah, it's more, isn't it?
Like that. Is it?
I think it's more, yeah.
I'm going to have a quick look at what that is, because that for me, bearing in mind, Paul Craig's got to win over the next title challenger. That is ridiculous.
Do you know what? I can't remember who tweeted it, and I was like, that is absolutely spot on. And he said, Paul Craig can win or lose to anyone in the whole division. And I was like, he can. Remember when he submitted off his back when he was hurt, but it was Ankalaev, wasn't it?
In the last second. He was in the last second of the fight.
And it was like, he's a mad fighter. Like he's obviously missing a lot of attributes. And I like him. Again, he's a fan favourite. I don't think he'll ever touch gold or top 5. Or no. But he's got a way to win. And I don't think this is the fight. Like I do think Bo Nickel.
I think typically the odds makers know what they're doing, don't they? They typically do now.
Yeah, it is funny though. Like he can kind of beat anyone in the division and also get beat by them badly.
Yeah, he's one of them fighters, Paul Craig, and you love to shout and you say it about Charles, but he's another one of them fighters who kind of gets a 10 count when he gets knocked down.
Yeah.
Because he's nasty off his back. But he's nasty off his back because he's had to train to be nasty off his back because he spent so much fucking time there.
Yeah.
Whereas Charles is just vicious, isn't he? But Paul Craig, mate, he can catch you in something, and if you're not very careful, he can catch you certainly in something that can put you out. And I think if Bo goes a little bit too wrestle heavy, he could get caught in something. But
yeah, he is a beast, like Paul Craig. I've seen him live a couple of times as well. He's boss.
Didn't he beat Ankalaev at a London card? Were you at that one?
Was in London. Was it?
I'm sure that was in London, yeah?
I can't remember him beating him live in London, like.
I thought that was in London, mate.
Pull that shit up, Jamie. I don't know. I can't remember now who he beat. He won later on because
Yeah,
the
it
other
was.
game.
It was in London, but it was not a very good card. Like Leon Edwards was on the card, but he fought Peter Sabota. The headliner was Volkov versus Verdum. I'm
Oh
guessing
no,
someone must.
never
I'm
went to
guessing
that one.
someone must have pulled out of that card. Why would that be the headliner of a London card?
Yeah, that might have been a Darren Till pull out one, maybe.
That must have been a Till pull out. That Verdum versus Volkov doesn't seem like
Not gonna
something
put
like
not
that.
gonna put a non-English main event, are they? That must have been the year before the one. I went to two, the two paddy ones I went to.
Yeah, this was before, yeah.
Well,
But
the two
that's it.
Aspinall one. When Aspinall beat Volkov and when Aspinall done his knee against Blades, they were the two I went. But
Yeah, I reckon that was probably one of Darren Till's injuries. That wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. Or weren't the one when Till was meant to headline, but then no, got it mixed up. No, I think Till pulled out. Yeah, I think Till did
When I
pull.
looked at that card, then there was only 4 fights on the main card, so there was definitely a pull out. Like I'm going to guess it was Till.
Yeah,
But back to that fight anyway. I think we both probably quite resounding here in the fact that we think Bo Nickel will win.
yeah.
But I think you get quite good odds for Bo Nickel to win by decision. Like,
Think it's going the distance.
yeah, I think it goes the distance, mate.
Okay, I like it. And then moving into the last two on the card. I mean the girls I know I'll be honest, I don't know tons about them. And the other lightweight fight, I know a little bit about Ruffy and stuff like that. So we'll go over these quick. But to be honest, if anyone's watching that's looking to do a bet or anything, obviously do your own research on top of it. And like I said, I know a little bit, not a lot. With the women, won't talk loads about it. I've got Silver winning. She's on a nice little run. I think she'll get it done. I'll probably go decision on this one as well, to be honest, if you're going by method of victory. But yeah, not tons to say.
Yeah, don't as El touched on there. Like, don't follow me in on these picks because these are for me. For me, these should be on the early prelims. These shouldn't be main card fights. These
Bit of,
I don't.
bit of a weird one when you've got you got Wyburn on the prelims, like.
Yeah, especially it's Madison Square Garden, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wyburns local in New York, lad. Is Eric Anders from there as well?
Not sure. No Wyburn is. Isn't he from Rhode Island?
I think Eric Anders might be from New York as well. You know, I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me on that. But for me, two shy fights that opening up the main card. But
yeah,
we shall see. And I am one for Silver in that one as well.
Yeah, I mean it's a bit of a weird card by the UFC. I know people are booked and like other people are sitting out and stuff like that, but this is the type of card where you have like the MSG card. You always had the three big fights. Remember the three title fights?
Yeah.
And the year before, obviously you had McGregor. You had Thompson Woodley one, and you had Joanna Carolina. So three title fights. The next year you had the three title fights.
Yeah.
Where you had Bisping GSP, TJ Cody, and was it Woodley Thompson too? It might have been even potentially, or something like that anyway. And like this one, it's just that obviously okay, maybe you can't have three title fights on this card with the way the divisions are going, but surely you can swing in like a nice contender one. Like Bo Nickel's not getting a title shot off fighting Paul Craig. You know what I mean? You could have another number one contender spot below the Charles and Chandler fight and bulk it up a bit. It's a bit of a mad card, like.
Well, for me, two things. First thing, I think Bo Nickel really at the moment 6-0. The highest he can be on a card is opening the main card. He shouldn't be. It shouldn't be the third fight, which you often coin as the people's main event. He certainly shouldn't be finding that. And then the other thing for me is, I think when I looked at this card, I think there was 2 fights that have come off the card totally. Like neither of the fighters from both fights are still fighting. I think it was Anthony Smith against Dominic Reyes.
Yeah, he's fighting the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, so that was supposed to be on this card, and then I don't know if you remember me talking recently about that. He fought quite recently on a fight night, Azamat Murzakanov, the light heavyweight. He's about 14 or 15-0. I think he was supposed to be on this card as well, and he's come off. So I don't know whether them two would have been on the main card. He was fighting Nikita Krylov as well, so that was probably an all-action fight. But don't know whether they would have been on the main card. But for me, not a great card, and these last 2 fights on the main card just aren't it.
But another one on you just reminded me there on 310 as well. Aljo,
Yeah,
against Muzar. That could have easily been on this as well. But
yeah,
we're talking about the card in front of us. On the next one, I've got Maurizio Ruffy winning. I think he got to finish as well. I remember watching him. I said to you before we started. I couldn't remember what card it was on, but I remember he got a first round finish, and I thought I like the look of him. I'll watch him next
yeah,
time he fights. And then obviously when I've looked, it was the Pantoja card earlier this year. He got a nice finish. The guy he's fighting, 14-4 out of the luck. He's had a couple of losses there recent, and yeah, I'm gonna go Maurizio Ruffy by finish. But again, not tons to talk about on it.
yeah. Following you in, I haven't seen much of either fight. I've seen Ruffy on a contender series as you touched on before, but I'm going for a Ruffy stoppage as well.
Nice. And then yeah, just on the prelims, I've always had a little soft spot for Chris Weidman because like we were saying before,
Yeah,
when we started getting into the UFC, he was like a challenger, and then he ended up winning the belt, and then he had the stuff with Anderson, the stuff with Luke, and stuff like that. So I've always
yeah.
had a little soft spot. So I'm looking forward to seeing him back. I hope he looks better than the last time. I don't think Eric Anders is a nice fight for him, to be honest.
No.
Me whole head says Anders. Me heart for an outside pick, home crowd, unless Anders is from New York, like um, might have a little dabble on an outsider bet, a couple of quid, put Weidman on it because I think his odds will be nice. I reckon Anders is a strong favourite there.
Okay, I like it. I'm gonna disagree with you on this one. I'm going for a Chris Weidman win on this one, and
Yeah,
I don't know whether I'm picking. I don't know whether I'm picking with me head or me heart. To be honest, I think I might be going with me heart because, as you say, I was in a
going hard. I'm definitely going hard with it. Like,
I was a big fan of Weidman back in the day. I was
yeah,
devastated when he broke his leg, but I yeah, I'm going for Weidman. I'm going for Weidman by decision. I think it'll be a close fight, of course, but in these three rounders, you only need to win the first round and the pressure's on.
yeah. To be fair, now I'm just looking at the odds for the first time.
Yeah,
Chris Weidman 5-4, Eric Anders 8-13. Thought it'd be a little bit wider than that, to be fair. So maybe I overestimated that. I'm still going wide. Yeah, I'll have a little dabble on Weidman myself. Bo Nichols 1-8.
yeah.
Charles Oliveira's 2-5. Wow, that's mad. Jon Jones was 1-7. I mean, I've
Is that
just
what Jon Jones is? One to
yeah.
seven.
I mean, I've just give you all an acca there of the favourites, and genuinely without looking at the odds. But I'll tell you now, mate, there'll be an upset on this card. So if you can nail the upset and then just back the faves, you could easily win some money there. Jim Miller's 6-5 as well. He's always a
Am I,
little
am I, am I being crazy? Did Jim Miller retire recently? Has he come back?
I swear to God, I thought that, and I thought he's fought about 10 times this year. But he's only fought twice already this year. He fought a UFC 300 and he fought another time. Got beat by Bobby Green, didn't he, at 300?
Wasn't that his retirement fight?
It was meant to be, and then he's come back.
Fucking hell, these people are crazy. You know, he's had about
Um,
55 fights. The CTE too. I think what we might need to do here, let's just outline what our picks are for the card then.
yeah. I mean, so we'll start at the main event. I'm going Jon Jones finish.
Yeah, I'm going Jon Jones finish.
I'm going to go TKO, in fact. So let me the odds aren't up yet. But I'm going Jon Jones TKO.
Yeah,
Then co-main,
I'll have Jon Jones finish.
co-main, I'm going Charles Oliveira submission.
I'll go Charles Oliveira TKO.
In the Bo Nickel fight, to be fair, I'm going to follow you in. I like that. I like the decision shouts because I think Paul Craig's dangerous enough to keep the fight grinding and get there. And yeah, so I'm going to go Bo Nickel decision.
Bold decision for both, yeah.
Yeah. Then in the women's fight, I'm going to go Silver. I'm going to go Silver. I'm going to go Silver. I'm not going to pick a method on that. But I would go finish, but I'm going to go finish on Ruffy instead.
I probably would have gone Silver decision and Ruffy finish. So
yeah. Wow, Ruffy's 1-10. I've just seen that. Is he the widest on the card? Yeah, he is. Wow, I didn't even know that.
So on that main card there, you've got a 1-7 and two 1-10s.
No, Bo Nickel's 1-8.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
that's fucking shocking. That like
it is bad, isn't it? And then you've got and then I'm also going to go Chris Weidman at 5-4. See, Sky got Chris Weidman on the main card, but the UFC website hasn't. So obviously,
I talked you into Weidman then, have I?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be stunned if we might, the UFC might have the order wrong. I wouldn't be stunned if Weidman's on the main card. I think
he should be, but to be fair, usually fight week, the UFC is usually right. It's
Yeah,
usually
yeah,
like the week before when it's wrong. It is. I mean,
yeah.
it's Monday, but be surprised like if that UFC website's wrong now.
Yeah, it's not. It's. I mean, it's on sort of everywhere I look. It's on Wiki.
Yeah.
It's on Tapology. So I don't Tapology like you can't fucking
To be
subscribe
fair,
to
them
them. But
first two fights of the night are actually decent. But on a Hardy and then Alban Elliott's fighting again.
yeah,
The early prelims are better than the prelims.
yeah, they probably are. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we don't want to keep this one too long, so we'll wrap it up there. What's your record then? So you've got the first three on the main. Sorry, you've got the last three on the main card, and then what else are you going, Weidman?
I went same as you. I'd be tempted to drop off the silver fight, the
Yeah,
female fight, and just have a fivefold.
yeah, I wouldn't argue with you on that. Like it's a bit pointless, but yeah. So if anyone wants to follow us in with the picks, you know what the score is, you can do it there. Thanks for watching. Let us know if you agree with the picks, if you don't agree with the picks, if you think we're a bunch of pricks or what. And please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and then we'll see you in the next one.